Hey everybody, it's Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training. Thanks for joining us again today. We are continuing our series Inside the Bridge. And so what I've done is I've gone into the Bridge application inside Photoshop. Now I'm using the CS6 version, but the CC version is identical to what we're doing here. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through the Adobe Photo Downloader, which is probably a program you've never heard about at all, because I've never seen anything about it on the net. You know, you can pick up a few things here and there, but it's never really going through everything that the downloader has to offer. So once you plug your card in, of course, if you're a Mac user, Photos is going to open up right away. You want to quit out of that, and you'll want to turn it off inside your preferences area inside Photos. But one of the things that's very, very important to understand is when you get into the downloader, when you bring it up on your first time, it'll ask you whether you want to bring it up right away or not. Now, that's completely up to you whether you want to bring that up. If you're a Lightroom user as well, you probably don't necessarily want to bring it up automatically because you'll be importing and exporting out of Lightroom. But if you're solely somebody who uses the Bridge and Adobe Camera Raw, then certainly you'll want it to open up right away in that. I'm going to click no right now because I teach both Lightroom and the ACR and Bridge application. So normally what happens is when this opens up, you get what we call the standard dialog box that shows up. And we're actually telling it where we're getting our photos from here. And the small standard dialog box doesn't do a whole lot. You're looking at it going, why is this thing that great? Well, it's really not. But if you go into the advanced dialog box, I'm going to click on the plus button here in the upper left corner to get it much larger. If you go into that, what you're getting is the thumbnails will come up, and you have a bunch of different controls over here on the right side of your screen. Normally what I do, this is where I do my first edit. I take out the images that I know I don't want, maybe some blinkos or images that I think just didn't make the cut. So I normally uncheck all, and then I'll go through and only check the ones that I know that I want inside here. So I'm going to not check the small JPEGs because I use those for using the Cam Ranger on my camera. So what I'm going to be doing is not clicking on those small JPEGs, and I'm going to just click on my raw files that I'm going to be downloading from. So let's just go in here. I'm not going to select those. I didn't like them as much when I went into the system, and now I've got the files selected that I'm looking for. So I've got 12 files that I've got selected inside here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a location for these to go to. So in the upper right corner, I'm going to select a new folder. These were actually test files that I had done from a student of mine. I'm going to put them on the desktop originally. I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop called Maylee. And put her last name as well. And we're going to create a new folder. So let's put that right into the desktop area. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to click OK, and now you can click a subfolder. So these are raw files. So for me, I'm going to put these as Maylee raw files. I'm going to divide these out. So I've got that taken care of. So I've created a subfolder inside the folder, made it a custom name, asked if I want to rename the files. Right now, I don't, because in my second round of editing, I will then take out any images that I don't want, and after that I'll rename the files. The next button below is asking me whether I want to preserve the current XMP data. That's the kind of sidecar that goes along with each individual file. They want to know if I want to actually preserve that right now. I'm going to click that off because I'm going to want to do my own color inside there. As you've seen from our last two lessons, we've kind of created our own file inside there, and I do have a file that I can use for color correcting at this point. I do want to open up in Adobe, so that'll open up a new folder inside Adobe, so that the Bridge, so that I can do that. the other nice feature you have is you can actually convert to a DNG right away. So those folks that are using digital negatives, that'll carry all of the color information that is currently on the file. And you can also delete the original files after they've been kind of brought over. Now, I don't do that. I normally take care of that after I'm done, make sure that everything's okay with the files before I delete them. And the last item on here is save copies to. So if you're somebody that has a hard drive and you want to save them to the hard drive at the same time, you can actually go through that and actually save them. So I'm going to save a copy to another hard drive. So I'm going to go on to my portable hard drive here. Let's go into my my RAID system that I have. I'm going to create a new folder in my RAID that's called Melee, and Stinky the last name, and I'm going to create a folder. Now, inside there, unfortunately, you can't create a subfolder in there. I am going to put another new folder inside of hers that says Melee raw files. So I'm exact duplicate of what I'd done before. So I've got that, and I'm going to choose that folder to pop them into. So now what I'm doing is immediately I'm making a backup copy of that file. In the metadata area, I can just choose basic metadata, or I can put on one of my presets in here, and we're going to go over that later in some of the other videos that I'm going to be producing for you. I can put my copyright here, I've got my creator here, and then I'm going to hit Get Media. Once you do that, what it's doing is it's getting each of these individual images, it's putting one in one area, one in my backup area. You can see as it's copying through, it's copying the file, creating the backup copy, and it's going back and forth. So when I'm done, when these 12 files are brought over, what's going to happen is Adobe Photo Downloader is going to quit, and it's going to open up inside the bridge because that's what we asked it to do. So once it's done processing, all of a sudden everything is going to go in, and that the Adobe Photo Downloader is going to come up. You can see that a bridge, Adobe shuts down, and Adobe Downloader shuts down, and the raw files come up. So now I have the experimental files that I had photographed for a portrait class that I was teaching inside, and we're ready to start editing. Now we can go back to video 1 in this Adobe Bridge series, and we can start all over from scratch again. Again, I want to thank everybody, and thank you so much for coming in and looking at video 3 of the Bridge. Remember, next week we're going to be getting into Lightroom, and I'm going to be talking a lot about the Lightroom exercises inside there and doing a lot of the same processing. So helping both those people that are using Bridge/ACR and the Lightroom. Remember, you can always go to ricktrummer.com to pick up a lot of different information. We have videos on all of these different things, and so you can get a lot of information that we have inside there. Until next time, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training. Thanks for tuning in.